This is not about, I'm going to stress again, Harry Kim's opinion. This is not just about the telescope. This is not just about science. This is not just about this relatively small group of people in comparison to the numbers in the state that are being called different names besides protectors, all meaning the same. They're bringing forth what their concerns are. And that's point one we should all know. The protectors are not your enemies if you are for the development of Maunakea, of science and this and that, and going forward there. There are truly the protectors of what they believe in. I could spend the rest of this interview just talking about that. These are the people that have the time and courage and knowledge to say, this is not right. In my opinion, it's not about not right for Maunakea. This is a cumulative of what is not right about what have been done to this very special place. I wrote this for my cabinet, not for Maunakea. I will eliminate the beginning part. And I told the cabinet this is our guiding light type of guidance. And it says, our job is about the protection and preservation of the historical and cultural specialness of this land, the most precious and beautiful of places and its people. If you can take that short sentence and put it over the entire state, if you can take that short sentence and put it over the entire state and back off to 1893, that this place called Hawaii in the middle of the Central Pacific Ocean belonged to the people of Hawaii, of the people of the First Nation of Hawaii. Everybody else was new to this place, one way or the other, whether they were immigrants for plantation or the church or else anything else. This was their whole culture. Now compare that to what we have today, where not only them, but most people of moderate incomes, we can't even afford to live here. Take of what was there then and what is here now in regards to incarceration, lifestyle of food, and everything else. Take that and what happened in 1893 of loss of all that as far as governorship. I want every one of your viewers a little bit, just one part of your day, just one part of your day, make believe you are them. We just celebrated, 126 years of the turnover. I know the vast majority of the viewers, or maybe hopefully not, feel that, well, that's past. Well, it is not past. That's why I wrote this sentence. Maunakea to be a recognition of deeply painful history of intrusions in the First Nation of Hawaii, which today are reflected in issues such as Maunakea. This is what the issue of Maunakea is, or what is said. It is not just of Maunakea. If we can accept that, then there is a chance we can go forward together. But to go forward together of people like me and the rest who are not of Hawaiian history or blood, it's going to be very difficult to go forward. If we listen very, very deeply, and I mean very deeply, that's why I use the word of deeply. You got to listen deeply and feel instead of shucking it off. Oh, that's yesterday. You will see that the pain of that lingers today, and worse, for some, grows today. And this is symbolic of Maunakea. for us to go forward truly as one, we have to show that we know. We have to show that we care. And that's what I'm trying to do. I know that's a tall order, and I'm sure there are viewers out there that automatically are saying, what is he talking about? This yesterday. And I'll say it again. It is not yesterday. It is of today. They just kept going. So when President Clinton, of the joint of the House and the Senate, passed a resolution bill of letter of apology, there was a tremendous elation here. 10,000 people marched very peacefully, in their words saying, about time. But it ended there. We as a community did not carry it from there and say, look at the wrong we did. And in every which way we can, we must show that we know this, even though we had no part in it. We know of the hurt, and we will try, to be better people than what had happened to them. This is my vision for Maunakea. So if you don't mind, I'm going to read that vision to you.
Thank you.
I want your viewers to know that it took me, it's only a short double-spaced page, as you can see. How long did it take me? 8, 9 months. I don't mean continuous. How many versions of this? I think my secretary will tell you at least 50. But a version means I change a word or put in a word or whatever. And it reads. And it has a lot of meaning to it, and I wish I had the time to explain what it meant, and maybe I'll stop here and there to explain the complexity of the feelings and thought behind some of those words. Vision for Maunakea. Maunakea to be a symbol of the native Hawaiian culture, past, present, and future, a cultural and natural treasure. This is about the protection and preservation of the historical and cultural specialness of this land, the most precious and beautiful of places and its people. On that, before I go on, if we don't do this, this will just be a place of sun, sand, and surf. I dare anybody to tell me what is the cultural specialness of Florida or other places that we take as just a place of vacation or different kind of things of enjoyment, and we forget everything of its past, of its specialness. I think Hawaii and its people of history are so special that the world cannot afford to lose it. A central theme of Maunakea should be of the native Hawaiians' exploration of the ocean to the discoveries of the universe, as the Hokulea well showed. Hawaiians understood how the world was connected from the mountain to the sea. They explored the ocean and learned about the heavens to guide them. They believed that this majestic mountain is the Earth's connecting point to the rest of the universe. This is about the mountain being part of their soul. This is about the mountain bringing people together. This is about what Maunakea can be for the world. Maunakea to be a symbol of nations working together for the pursuit of peace and harmony, a beacon of hope and discovery for the world. This is not just about science, it is about combining culture and science. It is about respect and caring. It is about a quest for knowledge that will make us a better people and better stewards of this world. And Lord knows we surely forgot that. People came here and took advantage of a very, very beautiful, gentle people, took over the place because they said, what a beautiful place to make money. Maunakea to be a symbol of native Hawaiian heritage and the inseparability of nature and culture. Boy, did we forget that. I don't think most people even make a connection. They just look at the place of sand, surf, and sea and see how they can utilize this place. Maunakea to be a recognition of a deeply painful history of intrusions in the First Nation of Hawaii, which today are reflected in issues such as Maunakea. It was so wisely said, quote, "The world will turn to Hawaii as they search for world peace because Hawaii has the key, and that key is aloha." And of course, Entipilahi Paki. I urge every listener and viewer out there to take the time and read the context of that quote, which was said, I believe, in 1970, when Judge Burns brought people together of Hawaii to have a session of discussion on where do we go as a state from here, because the world is discovering Hawaii as a tourist mecca, and airlines developing where they bring them in by the thousands. Maunakea to be a symbol of the world of a cosmopolitan people of the world where diversity is respected and celebrated. Every time you turn on the news today, diversity is an enemy. When you're born and raised here, I guarantee you, if you're born and raised here, and this is all you know, the world of stupidity, of prejudice because of color, of religion, is something totally foreign. And the world comes here and makes this a different place of what so much of the world that, I so very much is afraid that will be dominated here with the word cosmopolitan. I could elaborate on that word as an individual forever with pride. And I'll make up a number, 90% plus of all the viewers is asking, what is that cosmopolitan? I grew up in a time when there was a common word as any word. If those of you who challenge that because you've been here only 50 years and less, go to the University of Hawaii and go look at their old annuals. Make sure it's before 1959, because that's when we became a state. And they would have beauty contests called Kapalapala. And you would have different categories of Caucasian, of Hawaiian, of Filipino, and et cetera, et cetera. And you would have one more, cosmopolitan. Go look it up. And what is that? Ethnic group of mixed. I brag about my one and only granddaughter, Scotch, Irish, English, German, Filipino, Portuguese, Korean, Hawaiian, and she goes to Kamehameha School. Cosmopolitan of mixture. Maunakea to be a model of science and of culture going forward. And by golly, that's what this appeal is. We have to go forward. Maunakea to be an opportunity for the gift of aloha to be presented to the world. That's not just words. Take the time to see how that was included in our state statutes. This shall be a land of aloha. Because of the progress since 1970s to what we are now, if you want to call it progress, and we did tremendous progress of things of technology, etc. But I think we took a giant, many steps backwards in regards to relationship of people. And I think we forgot that of the most important thing that Hawaii is. I dream of a time we can go back to the things we were so proud of, being cosmopolitan, and take the words literally. How would you like to be known as? Where are you from? I'm from Hawaii. Oh, is that what place they call a cosmopolitan people? Yeah, meaning people belonging to the world.
There's other recommendations in this? Yeah.
What we're doing with this is The governor gave me a total free hand. In my moments of stupidity, I said, okay. Because God knows I have a day job. There was no guidelines on what to do, how to do it. It was just, can you come up with something else besides where we're going for or against? And what came out was this. I wanted to come up with a vision of what I felt of Maunakea that would be good, not just for the Hawaiians, for Hawaii, but for the world. I even talked to the Attorney General of the United Nations about support of this. I've talked to people of China and Japan, of Canada, before one word is written as far as where we go and how we get there. But it doesn't take long to realize that of what words were in there. The world is searching for a place, not government, but people like you and others making up a number. 99% of the people are not involved in government. You know, they're just trying to make life as best as they can of feeding themselves, their family, and making a better future. That's who I'm talking to. And so after that vision was stated, how short and how long does it take me to write that, right? But it did take a long time because it's not for me, it is a compilation of the Lord knows how many people you talk to and listen and read about of how special this place is and what it could be. After that was done, initiatives on what are the things that this mountain could be that would represent this vision, to make that vision come true, where Maunakea would be symbolic of that. And I identified things of, for example, we all know that the criticism of management, that the present management was very, very difficult because it was focused on science and of University of Hawaii, management there, and the rest of the mountain of management in regards to land and natural resources. But nobody wrote out a vision for them of connecting. And that's why I put up management. We must review and reorganize the management authority. Now these initiatives is what a group will elaborate on certain points, but now will be for the rest of the government if they embrace it, to get people with knowledge, including attorneys, because some legislative things may have to be changed, to implement that vision. The second part I put of management is paramount to future management is the involvement of the host culture. Yes, we did it, but I felt way too late, way too short. Other things I talked about here are let this mountain be symbolic of education. I had a brother of Hanai, passed away not too long ago. We call him Black, and not to refer in regard to Black Key. That's today's connotation of calling his name of Black. Pure Hawaiian. Whether people want to admit it or not, and I'll say it here openly, and maybe I should have said it 100 years ago, and then we would have been better. We as a government, knowingly, I think did so many things educationally, lifestyle, everything, to make the people of Hawaii, the indigenous people of Hawaii, people of the First Nation of Hawaii, not feel very good about who they are. I know the vast majority of them had no intent of making them feel bad, the way we did things. Of the educational system, It is not by accident that we develop generations of Hawaiians not feeling proud of who they are. And worse, almost feeling ashamed of being who they are, because quiet connotations of you're not too smart, you're kind of lazy, etc., negative stuff. And again, not openly, just generation after generation, quietly being done. And we hurt a lot of people. God knows we hurt a lot of people of self-image. Maunakea in education, we've got to turn it around. The Hawaiians are the most beautiful people I know. We know now examples of a Hokulea, only an example of their lifestyle, of intelligence, of warmth, of talent that we didn't recognize. And worse, I remember reading 1893, the overthrow of the monarchy. Congress did a beautiful job of tracing historically and writing that letter of apology. And if I think we all read that, we'll be better in going forward. Well, when you look at that, I think you'll understand a lot of what I'm trying to say. I mean, education, the overthrow of 1893. 1896, you see this republic of a few people passing a law forbidding certain kind of activity in the Hawaiian language. All of us should be able to project with that very easily, right? I don't care where you're from Europe, from Africa, from Asia. What if I went to your individual country and took it over after hundreds of years of ownership of the people and say, oh, I'm taking over. Oh, I'm going to eliminate your culture. That's not the words they use, but that's what they meant when he said, I'm going to eliminate the language. And it's only recently, and I mean recently, that some people woke up, and now I am so proud of the University of Hawaii. And don't take my criticism of Maunakea as I'm criticizing the university. No, it was that particular thing of how we did that. It is the university that created, with the Department of Education, of where we are today, of the language of Hawaii. Look at the Manoa University of Hawaii. I think, I'm pretty sure I'm right on this, the only university in the United States of America that gave graduate work in the native language of Hawaiian or any other language of American Indian or any place else. And that was a tremendous leap forward. Look how many people of Hawaiian, young kids, you gotta smile when you see young kids in public talking Hawaiian to mama. That's how far we come. Well, we can come just as far and further of Maunakea, of other things.
This report, in terms of through the view of the 30-meter telescope, I've been in contact with some people who feel like, you can tell me if this is wrong or not, but they feel like this report takes a supportive position on the 30-meter telescope, and for that reason, they feel like they can't support this. What do you have to say about that part of the equation?
Totally, absolutely understandable. I mean, how else can you come to a different conclusion? You know, one of the things about being my age and all the different kind of jobs and responsibilities that you have, it is very rare that on things as complex as this, you can have it all. If I had a magic wand, boy, you don't know the kind of things I would change today. I have a beautiful example of a partnership of what can be done in regards to resort development called Kohaniiki because of the owner, Bill McMurray, of Kennedy Wilson. I have sadness when I see, and I just read of the mountain to the sea, of a lifestyle where you create an economy that says you can't go to the sea. And this developer came, Bill McMurray, and wanted to develop this portion in Kona, and as best as it could, with economic development in mind as well. Did what he did. And I won't say much more than that, except I want people to be curious enough to find out what was done in Kona. There's a sign out there that I wrote when you enter, and it says, "This park is a result of a true partnership," and I emphasize the word true partnership between community and developer. Go look at that park, or what can be done of compromise. If we stood firm, there would be absolutely no development. We would have lost. We may have won the development of no hotels, but we would have lost as far as what the community could have. This was a compromise. Maunakea is the same. I have been given the privilege, not authority really, I have no authority over this. This has no authority of law on it, because this is a state project. The university has the lease on it, etc. I was asked, can you come up with a proposal or idea that somehow, we can work together? And that's what this is. Make no mistake of it. There's no authority behind this. So the criticism or concern is you still have the 30-meter scope in it. I know that. So how do I rationalize that, accept that? I would have no position on this except as one individual, probably one sentence say we got to get together. But the governor gave me a responsibility to try to do something. With that responsibility, a status of being able to talk to organizations like OHA, like Kamehameha Schools and organizations of unions, of what I have in mind for us to get together. With that, to make this acceptable, and please hear this part out, the development of the scopes and the way they did it, I told all of the people at the university and the astronomers, all of them together, we were wrong. We forgot whose land this is. This is ceded land given to the state to watchdog for the people. And we abused that. We forgot that, like so many other places. I knew my only chance of success was to work with the people of Manoa campus, University of Hawaii, and the president and the Board of Regents. The president and I must have met on this in private, and for some of it, at least a half a dozen times and more. I met with the president, Regents chair, at least 3 times in private with the president, here and there. I've talked to the whole Regents as a whole, what we must do, as stated in some of the vision. I've talked with Japan, of the people of the scope, of Canada, of the United States. Somehow, we need to develop this place of science. It is ideal for their science, but also for the people. I pleaded with them in this sense. Number one, and the legislatures have done it. Universities have agreed to do it. They're on a decommission schedule now. You have to make a plan that is trusted on not making it worse, but getting it better, on decommissioning scopes that are not being used, and do it right. And they're doing that. On the 30-meter scope, I promise all your viewers I must have met with the leaders of the scope in private, by phone, many times. Here, I don't have the time to go there, so they come here. I've talked to the people from a very big part of it, the Japanese. What can you do to make this special for the people of Hawaii? How can you, that's why we have an education category, how can you make this where the people of Hawaii, and the world look at it just besides sciences, looking beyond, that they are part of it? How can you intertwine this with our educational system? How can you, and most important, all of them were told is, how can you help us as a people go forward by teaching of the mistakes we've made? How can you develop programs of teaching of them being part of this, where they feel they are a partner in learning of what we are learning, not just for you individual science? I have more than a commitment from the partners of the 30-meter scope. I have their trust that this is important, that we do this. To come up with this vision, to come up with this initiatives, it was not just sitting down by yourself. I just told you of the meetings. I cannot put those things down unless I can look straight at you, the camera, and say, I have their commitment. I have the commitment of the university and of the Board of Regents in regards to being better and where we go. I have the commitment of the governor, Land and Natural Resources, to work how we can be better in the management of the rest of the mountain so we can go forward. We're picking on Maunakea now, but are we any different in Waikiki? Were we any different in Kohaneiki? I'll go on this example. It's the best example that I can give you and your audience of our disregard to the most beautiful people on God's earth. And please remember, this was their country. Forget the land. Hawaii was their country, recognized by the foreign powers of Japan, United States, and others. This was their country that we took over. If we can just absorb that of what I'm trying to put out and bring out. If we can do that, then those things that you are asking me of where we go and how we go can be done. But we got to recognize that first.
Well, we're in charge of coordinating the state's effort in support of Hawaii County. They'll be primarily responsible. They're taking the lead.
The Attorney General said on record that they're looking to the county to take the lead in terms of whatever sort of enforcement may happen on the mountain. I
met with the Attorney General a long time ago. Before the governor asked me to, I met with him because of where they were going and what their plans were. As you know, this is an old subject. I told him of what I hope we don't get to. I told him and what he represented, because he is a governor's appointee, of what I hope we would do, try to work to make this good. And maybe I shouldn't use the word good. Let's just say something that will make us better and make this project an asset to make us better, and also of science. Now we have a new Attorney General. I met with her and her staff. She did me the tremendous privilege of asking to come here and talk about Maunakea and other things. Gave me an opportunity, because she's doing her job, working with, meeting with our police to see what are the legal responsibilities and plans, development of if something does happen up there that needs enforcement, because the court ruled, as you know, that the permits are legal and technically they can proceed. And so to make a plan on who will do what. That meeting was held in this same office 3 weeks ago or so. I took that opportunity to talk to her about this. Yes, they are doing their job, and yes, they must do their job of planning. But they were also told, I hope that will never have to be implemented. I hope this will take its place. And her representing the government of the state of Hawaii, I said, I hope you guys will be a part of it to help us work towards that, as you have to do this other planning. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind of her, which I met for the first time, of sincerity of hoping this comes and takes its place.